sometimes that balances out. But the number one, I guess, factor that's going to impact that is costs. And we see that, especially like with your area of expertise, Kevin, on salary increases. So is that something we're experiencing like at all?
Yeah, we track employment data monthly. We're up to over, I think, 140,000 employees on the platform now in the UK. So we've been running this report for just over 12 months. And basically what we're looking at is, okay, so geographical, industry, but also anything that's attached to like the ONS data. So we can kind of track it, say, okay, are we in line with their reports, or do we see differences? And we try and reconcile it in the background and obviously figure it out. We're not economists by any stretch. The reality is we are seeing employment grow in the SME space, and like typically clients who use Employment Hero could be from 2 or 3 staff up to over 1,000. So it is quite a spread. But let's say for this data, we're very focused on the 5 to 500 employee category. So we saw a contraction in employment just over a year ago when the budget came out, and there was talk of the NIC changes and increases. And it took it nearly 12 months like for it to actually bounce back. But now we're starting to see it like come up again. And the reality is SMEs can't wait to hire, right? Like they deal with what's in front of them. If that's a economic challenge or government regulatory piece, like they kind of have to get through it. And they need to continue to hire because there's such a dependency on people in their business and human capital. But the kicker, and not a positive one that we're seeing here, is wages are up 8.8% from on our data. And what we're hearing then when we speak to SMEs is we need people in the door to help us. They're experiencing a cost of living challenge. We're trying to hold on to people and retain them. Therefore, we're finding quite boxed in terms of what we can do. And it is pushing wages up across the business. So very challenging for them right now.
Yeah,
Even with the
definitely.
increase in wages, it's not like it's seen as anything super special by the employees because, as you say, the cost of living, they're stretched that in a few years ago they could have a much better quality of life versus now, even though their salaries have increased, it hasn't made much of a difference.
I think
But
that's psychologically like really important because the employer is thinking, I need to hold on to these people.
yeah,
The employees thinking, I need to pay my bills. There's not a positive sentiment in either kind of party, right? Like it's like, oh, we kind of have to do this, or the employees thinking you should do this to help me.
do you know what's really interesting though? How everyone said, we've got tech, we've got AI, all kinds of things. Now we don't need people. So surely salaries shouldn't be increasing. But I think this is just validating that, yeah, we have tech, but we can do so much more. And we need the people to be able to steer that tech in the right direction, right? To actually show us what we need to do to improve. Therefore, their skills are more required than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. It just shifts. It moves around. And look, even though this kind of, I mentioned it earlier about Frankenstack, there's a lot of SMEs across the country who've adopted a lot of tools and made the right decisions at that point in time to get a new time and attendance software, a new accounting software, or new payroll or HR, very much our wheelhouse. And they kind of get to now and probably reflecting and saying, hey, there's been cost, there's been pricing inflation for nearly all of those tools, but all of those tools and those businesses have to expand their product offering and then start to creep across into others. And they're saying, where should we do this piece of work? Because now we can choose between 2 systems. So it's becoming quite interesting to see this play out. If someone thinks then they could save, I guess, headcount costs by rolling out something AI related, like you basically, it's a bit of a digital bandage.